I start the story, I want to give a huge thank you to Scott Cawthon for making the Five Nights at Freddys series, or Fazbear Entertainment, Holly Clark for inspiring me, along with Daco and Ryra99 and Markiplier, and many others that were involved in the Five Nights at Freddys community. And also, if you guys haven't, please subscribe to my channel, hit the bell icon so you don't miss videos, and give it a like. And also, check out my memberships. I'm going to be posting some demos of my future projects from now on. Now anyway, let's get to the story. In the beginning, before Fazbear Entertainment became a thing, William Afton was born, sometime in the early 1950s. There is not much discussed about his family life, so we could assume that William Afton did not have a good childhood, because it isn't normal for his actions of the whole series and the restaurant to be revealed. So it's safe to assume that he did not have a normal childhood that was broken, painful, and emotionally traumatizing for him. It is safe to say, though, that William Afton did not have a normal childhood that probably left him scarred for life. As he got older, he looked for a method of escape, whether it's with stuffed animals or designs, but he wasn't exactly good with making robots, until he met a man named Henry. Now, William had strengths. He could understand business, he could understand basically designs, but he didn't quite comprehend how to build. Henry helped William build the robots, and he helped him grow a business as they would start Fazbear Entertainment. They started in the early 1980s, sometime in 1980, and they began to grow, but then they decided to step it up a notch with Fazbear Entertainment's Fredbear and Friends, and the TV show that came in 1983. While Fredbear and Spring Bonnie were the first two characters they created, they also would come out with Freddy, Chica, Bonnie, and Foxy. They will also make an underground location called Baby's Family Circus, which included Baby, her little babies, Ballora and her little Minoras, or Minorinas as they would call them, Funtime Freddy, Bonbon, and Funtime Foxy. There was another character known as Innard, but they didn't really focus on him too much because he was just basically an animatronic that was basically made with parts from the other animatronics that they scooped in the scooping room. We'll get to that later. But during this time, William Afton held a dark secret that would carry him throughout the entire Fazbear Entertainment franchise. One by one, children began to disappear, which resulted in multiple police investigations. Over the years, there was a lot of mystery regarding what happened, including some theorizing that there's a possibility that children were killed, and was even worse was the animatronics were acting very strange. It's safe to say, however, that the animatronics were not the same after the incidents. What could have happened? Before all the murders happened to be revealed, there was a much darker story. The first child of William Afton, Michael, terrorized the younger child, Jimmy. But Jimmy saw his sister, Elizabeth Afton, get taken by Baby. And then, later on, Jimmy was put into Fredbear as a prank by Michael and his friends, only for the animatronic to bite down on Jimmy, and later, Jimmy would die. All these incidents of Elizabeth and Jimmy were in 1983. It will only get worse. 2 years later, Michael went to Baby's Family Circus to go look for Elizabeth and put her back together, as the quote would remain. Unfortunately, as he investigated, he would find out some more dark truths, including animatronics beginning to get scooped, and eventually the animatronics revolting and taking out workers. Then Michael would go and follow Baby into his hand unit that he got, and they would go into the scoopy room where Michael would get scooped, and then Innard went into him. Sadly for Michael, he was part animatronic from then on, but he still had humanity in him. 2 years later, in 1987, at another location, there was the toy animatronics, but the entertainment decided to keep the old animatronics, which are now withered and old, including Bonnie, who lost his face. But they were even worse. because while they were going to use them for parts, it would eventually be revealed that the animatronics were not the same, and that while you could use a Freddy mask or a flashlight against them, something was off. During the week, Jeremy Fitzgerald, the night guard at that location, would find out that there was a lot more of a darker secret. That darker secret was someone was messing with the animatronics. Someone was causing trouble to result in a police investigation. One day, the phone guy called him and told him that they were going to shut down for a while. And someone took one of the suits, and none of the animatronics were acting right, meaning they were even worse. Eventually, Jeremy Fitzgerald would have to take one more shift, the day shift. There, Jeremy would be the victim of 87. The bite of 87. The bite of 87 for Jeremy in this case was from Mangle, because Mangle, who was always the animatronic that always seemed to go on the ceiling, was always beaten up, but always seemed to attack from the top. It would make things even worse that even with all the toy animatronics, including Toy Foxy, which is the Mangle, they would throw them away and recycle the old ones. And eventually, William Afton decided it was time to shut down and start fresh again. So, he lured the animatronics into a trap and destroyed them one by one. But then, the most horrifying thing happened to him. The children that he had killed were actually possessing the robots. The strange happenings where all the animatronics were children that he killed. So, they would go after him. Another animatronic that would later be revealed is the puppet, or the marionette, that was supposed to be put into a music box to keep her soothed. Who was that child that was possessing that marionette, or the puppet? Henry's daughter, Charlotte. A horrible, horrible fate. William Afton was face to face with his own crimes by the very souls that he had taken. But, in order to try to figure out a way to escape, he went into a spring lock suit, or spring Bonnie. To explain quickly, the old suits had spring locks, but there was a reason they were not used anymore, because if it was faulty, the spring locks would snap and go through the human. What eventually happened to William Afton? It popped. Spring locks snapped, and they eventually killed him. It would be a long time before he would return as part of the animatronics as a soul, and his body corpsed. But for the next years, the business would try to go back, and Henry would try to make another entertainment. But despite this, it wouldn't go very long. It came out in 2003, way after the incidents that have happened. Now, there had been no more incidents, or so they seem. The animatronics were still acting up because of the souls of the children that were murdered by William Afton. So, what happened later on? Well, to make it quick, the night guard was named Mike Schmidt, but in reality, his name was Michael Afton. Michael Afton was still following the business of his father to find out what was going on, and he was working as a night guard under a different identity. So, eventually, Michael would work, but he would eventually get fired for tampering with the animatronics. Later on, much later, in 2017, a new company took over Fazbear Entertainment, and they made Fazbear's Fright. The old videotapes revealed more of the horrifying incidents that have happened, including the spring lock suits and incidents of criminal investigation and the closed off room. The closed off room happened to be where William Afton was in that suit, so they closed off the room to prevent people from finding out. Who's been doing the cover-ups? Henry. Henry covered it up to protect the reputation of the business even when William was ruining it. So what eventually happened was even more darker. William Afton was found inside of a spring lock suit known as Springtrap. And sadly, while that would be freedom for William, it was a nightmare for the night guard, Michael, again. He went to Fazbear's Fright to look for himself. But after 6 days, Fazbear's Fright caught fire. And eventually, Michael and his father would both escape. A couple years later, they would make a new restaurant by Henry again. This time, however, things would not be the same. While it promoted a new business venue for everyone and a very helpful environment with hope of a new future, it was anything but hopeful. It was a trap. Henry set this up for William Afton and everything of Fazbear Entertainment to burn to the ground. Sadly for William, he never died. His soul lived on yet again, and they would eventually come back later. Michael would die too, and the souls of the children that were trapped in all those animatronics over the years, including Lefty, Molten Freddy, Scrap Baby, and many others, including the Rockstar animatronics, they would be free. But there was still one more. There's a new location with new animatronics, new business, new building. But yet, last time I heard, there was a security breach. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and the story. Let me know down below what you think of the story. And if you have different opinions, I'm free to listen to them. And also, maybe the story isn't what I think. Maybe I'm completely wrong in areas. But hey, this is my interpretation. I added a disclaimer early on. So anyway, if you guys enjoyed, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe. And if you guys want to make an SFM video or animation video of this audio, I only suggest you give me credit. That's all I ask. Anyway, enjoy. God bless. You rock. Don't you ever forget it.